distinguished professors, fellow colleagues, ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. When I was much younger, I'm still very young, we had a saying that small is beautiful. I think that when it comes to speeches, short is beautiful. I'll try to match my Lithuanian colleague. And by the way, your Romanian is very good. Thank you so much. For a beginner, is very good. I would like to share with you, for those of you who don't know me, I want to tell you that I worked for 31 years for the Holocaust Museum in Washington. I was part of the small team which built that museum, so I could lecture for a long, long time about many, many aspects of the Holocaust because I'm a historian too. Well, in the museum I was more like an apparatchik. After the building of the permanent exhibition, I was building the archives. It's a different job. But anyway, I would like to share with you a few of my reflections about the Holocaust. The first thing that I would like to tell you is that in my opinion, the Holocaust was a European project. There is no country in Europe which was not involved in a negative way in this process. And I'll give you a relatively small example. You probably know the history of the Struma vessel, which left Romania in December 1941, reached Istanbul in 1942 at the beginning of the year. Most of these Jews who were on the ship 764 or 68 were Romanian Jews, a vast majority. They were running away from the horrors of what the Romanian authorities and the German authorities were doing in Bessarabia and Bukovina, pogrom of Iași, and so on and so on. And they couldn't continue to travel because the Brits wouldn't give them visas for Palestine. Only 5 people disembarked. One very pregnant lady who was very sick, and 4 or 5 people who had visas for Palestine. They sat there until 20th of February. The Turkish Navy towed them back in the Black Sea and the Russian submarine torpedoed them. Only one person, a good friend of mine, David Stoliar, survived. So if we look at this story, only 760 Jews only. Every combatant and non-combatant type of country from Europe is involved. On the Allied side, Great Britain and Russia, which pulled the trigger. On the Axis side, Romania and Germany. On the neutral side, Turkey. So, again, and I don't want to go into examples, there are no countries in Europe which did not participate in one way or another, be it by refusing Jewish refugees to come in. We have a problem with the historiography of the Holocaust, which I would like to share with you. In my opinion, it was for too long too Germanocentric and Polonocentric, in the sense that everybody knew about the camps in occupied Poland, but nobody knew or talked about the Holocaust by bullets, the executions on the Eastern Front, about what happened in Yugoslavia, about what happened in Western Europe, and so on and so on. So this has 2 reasons. One of the reasons relates to the fact that in Western Europe, very late, many countries didn't acknowledge their responsibility in this tragedy. Think about the fact that France, only under President Chirac, acknowledged its direct responsibility in the Holocaust. Do not speak about Eastern Europe and communist countries where, look, the example of Romania. There was no Holocaust in Romania according to Romanian communist authorities. Hungarians were bad, we Romanians were very good. I'll get back to this in a second. And then we have the national myth, which also contributed to the propagation of a very distorted view of the Holocaust. United States, where I spent half of my life so far, pretended that they didn't know. Well, let me tell you something. They knew very well what was happening because they had many diplomatic posts in Europe in terms of the Holocaust. And also, mark my words, there were a lot of anti-Semites in the State Department. It was an anti-Semitic culture in the State Department. Let's be very, very clear about this. There is something else about the Holocaust which we should keep in mind. In general, it started at the periphery and advanced towards the center. In France, they killed predominantly the Jews who didn't have French citizenship. In Romania, they deported the Jews from Bessarabia and Bukovina, periphery. Same happened in Bulgaria, and so on. I can continue on, but I just want to emphasize points which I consider important. I would not finish this short, as I promised, presentation without saying a few words about Romania. I already told you what happened before the fall of communism in Romania. With the exception of the Black Book published in the late 40s, Romanian Black Book, which was much better than the Russian one because it was based on documents, not on testimonies, there was nothing. Silence, negation. And the same thing continued after the fall of communism until the so-called Wiesel Commission was established. It was a government-organized commission. Elie Wiesel was the chairman. I was the American vice chair. There was an Israeli vice chair, Tuvia Friedling, who was then the chairman of the National Archives of Israel, and the Romanian vice chair. And this report turned things around, and slowly, slowly, Romania changed its attitude and its policy when it comes to the Holocaust. And let me finish by telling you a few positive and negative things about what's happening in Romania when it comes to the memory of the Holocaust. I'd already talked about the Wiesel report. There is a Wiesel Institute which is very active in combating anti-Semitism and Holocaust denial, which is directly under the office of the Prime Minister. They are building a major museum of the history of Romanian Jewry and the Holocaust, because Romania was the third Jewish community in Europe after Poland and Soviet Union, and now there are almost no Jews there. So Romanians should know that the country is poorer without the Jews who, half of them were killed, half of them emigrated to Israel or other countries. So this museum will show the contribution of Jewish community to the development of Romania, to the progress in Romania and the Holocaust in Romania. And finally, we have in Romania very solid and good legislation combating anti-Semitism and Holocaust denial. I will not lie to you and tell you that there is no anti-Semitism in Romania. Anti-Semitism is a cultural tradition which still exists in Romania like in other countries. And on the negative side also, this legislation which I just mentioned to you is not enforced. So it's good, but not so good. So I thank you so much. With this semi-optimistic statement, I thank you once more for your attention.